Yeah. Hey, Fernando, can you take me through what it's been like having your brother at your side through the season? And then can you detail the pride that you two guys have in your Cuban family roots?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's been such a fantastic experience. Myself and one of my main pillars is always staying in the present moment in order to make the most of the present moment because the future is just a whole string of nows. However, playing my brother college football is something that when I'm 6 years old, I'm able to look on and I think take great fulfillment in. Take great fulfillment in and have been able to share such a great and special experience with Alberto. And not only do Alberto and I play football not for ourselves, not for this fulfillment and satisfaction of ourselves. We have a lot of whys why we do it for. And one of the whys is our mom. And another whys is our entire family. And our entire family comes from a Cuban background. All of our grandparents were born and raised in Cuba. So that is something that we always take deeply to heart. Alberto and I have actually visited Cuba one time back in high school. And so that is something that's always in the back of our mind is not only playing for ourselves, but playing for more, whether it's our family, our nationality, or God.
All right, next up we'll go to Mike Nislek and then RJ Young.
Yeah, Fernando, how have you kind of, I mean, the quarterback's in the spotlight all the time, no matter what, locally and everything, and your team, but how have you felt you've dealt with the national spotlight? Have you found it to be challenging at all as this case kind of picked up through the season?
Yeah, I would love to sit here and lie to you and say that, yeah, it's been smooth. However, I would say it's a little challenging, but like any challenge, there's always an opportunity with it. There's always an opportunity to praise the Lord, to praise my teammates, to praise my coaches. So whenever the challenge presents itself, and I used like to see it as an opportunity. I like to see an opportunity to talk to all you wonderful folk. It's such a great opportunity to talk to the national media, local media, or whoever it is. So with the spotlight, and the spotlight, with the pressure of it, it comes a privilege. Like we are so blessed to be 11 and 0 at this point, and right now we're just focused on being 1 and 0. But like you said, there are some challenges, but it's honestly just a great opportunity to give the praise to other people around in this program that they deserve.
Could you maybe share one of the challenges that you found?
Yeah, I would say not this Zoom specifically, but throughout the entire season, as the season ramped up, and really after the Illinois week, there's a lot more media requests that we got from our team, and I wanted to shout out Mr. Campbell for helping us, for helping myself instead of front loading my media, saving to the bye week, so I'm able to maintain my normal Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday routine that's been working, and so I'm able to keep that consistency rather than throw a wrench in the schedule where I need to take a 2 hour off for a media interview, which is fantastic because, we want to highlight the IU program, want to highlight our teammates, and honestly, I want to highlight, just what we're doing here at Indiana. But I think it's great the schedule that we've had, and this Zoom itself, I think is a great representation of how we've dealt with those challenges and made the most out of our opportunities.
Go RJ and then Chris Camrani.
Fernando, I've heard you mention your mom a couple of times and her being your why. I wonder if there's an anecdote you could tell us about when that became very, very clear to you that your mom was going to be your why playing football.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Mr. Young, for being on the Zoom. Really like your stuff. So my mom, she was always my inspiration in life from a young age. She was the one who taught me to throw a football. She was an amazing athlete herself. She was actually a tennis player at the University of Miami. And throughout a young age, she was always there by my side. She was the overprotective mom per se. And she has always been a positive light inspiration before and after MS. And to see her maintain that positivity and light throughout what she's struggling with, it's never gave myself an excuse to ever have a bad day, whether it's a bad lift, bad practice, or bad game. When I see her and what she goes through and how she's fighting, how hard her fight is, I'm never ever in a situation where I think that I can feel down on myself and not have a positive attitude and a smile on my face. And with her, it's always that unwavering belief. There's an interview that I saw that Tom Brady said that there's all the greats always have someone with unwavering love and confidence in that person, whether it's a parent, whether it's an uncle, whether it's a brother, sister. And I think that person for myself is my mom. Not saying by any means that I'm a great or anything like that, but I would say that she's been a huge part of my success. And someone like that has been a huge part of a lot of people's success in the past, whether it was in high school when I was crying on my bed because I was like, wow, like I really want to play college football. I think I'm better than a lot of these kids, but I'm getting no offer. She's like, oh, don't worry, your first offer is going to come. And then it was Yale, and I was fantastic. It was like one of the best days of my life. And then after that, she's like, you're going to get a Power 4 offer. And I'm like, mommy, like FIU and FAU aren't even offering me. Like, how am I get a Power 4 offer, I'm out here, I'm just grateful for, D1 FCS offer. And then I ended up coming. And whenever I got in first at Cal, she's like, you're gonna do great. You're gonna help, turn that program around. And I was like, I don't even know. I know, like, I'm on the sideline here. I don't even know if I could play. These guys are moving so fast. And so whatever she said has came to light, and I just can't thank her enough for everything that she's been a part of my journey. And that is really my why. Both of my parents are my why, because my dad and my mom are such great inspirations, role models to myself. But just really just the pillars that my mom has instructed me from a young age, with that unwavering belief and confidence in myself, has really exponentially increased my success here in the football space.
We'll go to Chris and then Mike Merritt.
Hey, Fernando, in the history of college football, we've had one player of Hispanic or Latino descent who has won the Heisman Trophy. That was Jim Plunkett back in 1970. We could potentially see two players of Latino and Hispanic descent be nominated for the Heisman Trophy with you and Diego at Vandy. I guess I just wonder for you, what does that mean to be able to represent two communities in the sports realm that I think you could say are historically underrepresented from a football perspective?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, it's such an honor. It is such an honor. I've seen a lot of Diego stuff throughout his years when he was back at New Mexico State, and because he beat Auburn over there, and we played Auburn the next year. So I've watched his highlights before, and I've seen his amazing journey through Vandy. And to be able to have that opportunity and honor to be able to not only do something for yourself, but also to glorify it into a nationality and to put on for a larger audience, is always such an honor and great opportunity. And that is something that, like we talked about before, is my why. It's not only my family, it's the people around me, whether it's a program, my nationality, and then it's God. So I would say that it is such an honor to be able to have that privilege. However, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Right now, all my focus is on, in this present moment, the Zoom, and then overall this week, it's on Purdue. Although we have a bye week this week, it is still on Purdue because they are a great football team and organization there. So it would be an honor, but honestly, I can't control those things. I can't control who gets invited, who gets nominated, who wins. So right now, I'm just trying to make the most of my present moment and enjoy it while it is.
We'll go Mike Merritt and then to Jawan Strader.
Hi, Fernando. Thanks for doing this. I'm curious, you've talked in the past about why you picked Indiana in terms of Coach Cignetti. Why do you think it has worked so well between you two?
Yeah. When I entered the transfer portal, it was a little bit of a whirlwind. There's a couple schools that I was heavily considering, and it was a really tough decision. It was a really tough decision not only to leave the University of California, Berkeley, but also to choose Indiana. And I would say a big part of that decision was my little brother, because he was able to tell me the good and the bad of Indiana while I was trying to figure out the good and the bad of these other schools. Not saying there's a lot of bad at these other schools or bad at Indiana, just the overall pros and cons of each situation there. I thought that the other schools were going to have fantastic teams and fantastic outlooks in the season. However, and that's what they sold me on. Coach Cignetti, on the other hand, sold me on being the best Fernando Mendoza that I can become. That no matter what happens, that I'm going to become the best quarterback if I have a crystal ball and I choose every single school, or if I can see my future at every single school, I'd become the best quarterback. I don't know if we'd be the best team, but I would be the best quarterback. And at that point, that's all I can control. I can control as being the best Fernando Mendoza quarterback and character that I can become. And that's what really sold me, because that was my reason for entering the transfer portal, is wanting to develop, wanting to take that next step and that next growth. And so when he sold me on that, I knew that it was a done deal, especially with my brother being here and be able to help me so much with the offense, the lingo, the terminology, and also just the whole aura and space of Bloomington as well. I thought that it was a no-brainer, and so far it's been a good decision, but need to keep on proving that decision right.
I got to ask you, how does it feel not only to represent Hoosier Nation, but to represent South Florida on such a big stage?
Yeah, Hoosier Nation has welcomed me with open arms. Ever since I got here, everything's been positive. Everything's been positive, and it's such a warm and cozy town in that feel where it's such a tight community. Whether it's a football player, basketball player, or student, everybody's always welcome, and it's always positive support. For myself, I haven't received any negative backlash, which is huge, especially at such a high football program that, sometimes if there's an off game or something, you never know. But I would say that Hoosier Nation has really welcomed me in as one of their own, and I can't thank them enough for it. And it's really meant a lot to me and my family throughout this entire season, more than anyone could even imagine. South Florida, I believe, is the hotbed of football. It is not only the best speed down there, I think it's the best overall high school football down there. Although a lot of people would say that Texas and California are up there, I believe in the quality of football in South Florida, and I think that's what helped me develop. When I went to college, the first thing a lot of people say is the game gets sped up. However, for me, it was only just a little bit of increment because evidently most college players are better than high school players. But I would say that's because of my environment in South Florida. There's a lot of other states like Texas and California that I've had great players. However, for myself and the speed of the game, especially for the processing point of a quarterback, it has been so special for myself to be able to have those experiences playing against our corner, D'Angelo Pons, who's an All-American corner, playing against the Jeremiah Smithes, playing against all these different other players that have gone on and had fantastic success in their college and in the NFL careers, in order as a quarterback to have that processing speed, to have that experience of, okay, I'm going to get got sometimes, but I need to bounce back and have some resiliency and to get them again, and to order to come on top and have that win. And with such a great football program like Christopher Columbus football is, it's not only helped me become a better person, but it's also helped me become a great football player with the coaching that Coach Dunn and all the coaches over there has provided.
We'll go to Jesus Ortiz and then Matt Weaver.
Fernando, first of all, congratulations. I'm going to try to sneak in two questions here. The first one being, just a couple of weeks ago, Marcel Reed was praising you, praising your personality, and telling us that you guys had a great summer together training. I want to know if you could share a little bit about that personality and if there's a memory that really sticks out. And secondly, if you could tell me what being Cuban means to you, and in terms of likely having a chance of being the third Latino to win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, first of all, Marcel and I were able to train for a weekend over the summer, and he was a great guy. I'd known his success at Texas A&M and that he was one of the emerging college superstars, and I was able to see it on the field. When we were playing and training on the field together, we were not only having a great time, but I was able to see what a fantastic player he is. After we worked out, we actually stayed at the same quarterback trainer's house together, and it was great. Watching playing at NCAA together, the video game, talking, hanging out. He's just a really good and genuine guy, and what you see is what you get with Marcel. It's not some type of persona or front that he puts on. He is really just a genuine and nice guy, and that's something that I've been so excited to see his success. Just because obviously he's a great football player. I mean, he's in the Heisman talks, and his team is doing fantastic at A&M, but also just what a great guy he is as a person. And that's a guy that, I would like to hang out with, that I like to hang out with, and that I would like to hang out with again, whether it's just getting dinner, whether if you play football or not, that's a guy that you would like to hang out with and kick it with.
All right, we'll go Matt Weaver and then Joe Cronin.
Hey, Fernando, how's it going?
Doing great, Mr. Weaver.
You mentioned this week, excuse me, in an interview that one of the things that Coach Signetti in Indiana told you on was when you come here as being the best version of yourself, the best Fernando Mendoza. Where do you think you've improved the most as a player, and how much is I'm sure he's been a big part of it, but what has Coach Whitmer meant to you and your improvement since you came to Bloomington?
I don't even think I can put it in words how much Coach Whitmer has meant to me, not only on the physical standpoint, but also the mental standpoint of the game. He has been such a blessing, and honestly one of the huge reasons that I've been having the season that we've had so far, especially from a quarterback play standpoint. He's really helped me become from a raw prospect to more refined. There's still a long way to go. You see, there's this half of the screen to go, a long way to go. But we've went from here to, I would say we've made a good jump. We've made a good jump, and Coach Whitmer, whether it's honestly basically hanging out the entire, summer day, watching film or talking on the phone, talking about footwork, it's been such a blessing for my brother and I and the entire quarterback room to have Coach Whitmer be a part of it, as he's such a great coach, not only physically with technique but he's so smart off the field mentally. He reminds me of like one of these young superstar coaches, like a Sean McVay. And so to have him there be my quarterback coach and to help have his input in the offense, along with Coach Signetti and Coach Shanahan, Coach Whitmer has really stepped up above and beyond and helped myself become the best Fernando Mendoza. And we're still on a long journey. We're still on a long journey. We still have a long season to go and a lot of improvement to do. But to have him has been truly special. And I think that just the overall understanding of the game, the footwork, the timing, the anticipation, and how good players never get bored. You don't need to be a superstar. You don't need to make a Superman play. You just need to make the right play, the right read, with the right timing, with the right technique. And so those are the things that he's really harped on myself. I'm taking it one play at a time. That has really helped myself exponentially grow this year.
We'll go to Joe Cronin, then Pete DePremio.
Hey, Fernando, good to see you. When you have a bye week like this, obviously everything is so focused on the present and what's upcoming. But have you been able to reflect on maybe a moment, a play, a game this season where you, the guys in the locker room, really felt that this team had something special brewing?
Yeah, it seems like for this team, there's a new moment every single week, whether it was Iowa, Oregon, Penn State, or any of the other victories that we honestly played really great team football. So there's a lot of memories that I really do enjoy, but I would say it's just the whole season of resiliency and using our superpower. And our superpower is playing together. And that comes from not just hanging out in the locker room, hanging out outside of football, and just really being close and really a band of brothers together by not only caring about the football players as teammates, but also caring about the football players as brothers. And so I think that's really helped us. That has really established his team as a one heartbeat operation.
All right, we'll go to Pete DePremio and then Jim Coyle.
Yeah, hey Fernando. Again, thanks for taking the time. I'm kind of curious. It seems like the best players are at their best under adverse conditions. You know, you've had some games where there's been an interception, a sack, and it seems like then your resolve really kicks in. Can you kind of talk about the process and how you approach those, some of these end of game situations?
Yeah. I grew up watching my football idol, Tom Brady. He was the man, and he thrived in those resilient situations. And someone who's dealt with a lot of adversity in high school, in the recruiting process, that's something that I've always been able to fall back on. I would say like there's been a lot of games, especially at Cal, that I've been punched in the face before. Not literally, but some adversity were to happen like that. And that has been a great learning lesson for myself in order how to respond to that punch. And when they give you a jab, to duck, and you might get hit by the jab, but you're going to give them an uppercut and knock them out. And so I would say that the resiliency is a huge part of my game, and it's really about the mental performance. I meet with a mental psychologist, a sports psychologist every week, and I think that's helped my game exponentially as we're always focusing on what can we control. The next play is what we can control. That's the most important thing. You can't control the last play no matter how hard you think or how hard you try. There's no time machine that you can go back in time. So I would say it's all about being grateful and having gratitude in the present moment, allowing your nervous system, whenever you're nervous in those pressure situations, in order to just saying, hey, that's my body getting ready. That's my body that's going to play better in these situations because it's giving my body essentially like more energy and more focus. And then it's really just controlling the controllables in the present moment rather than looking at the surroundings, whether it's Penn State, Oregon, or Iowa, that the stadium's absolutely rocking and the ground shaking, to really just focus on the present moment and your technique and where you can control that play.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go to Jim Coyle and then Daniel Flick.
Fernando, thanks for your time, first of all. Coach Signetti has had a lot of success with quarterbacks, and you're the latest, of course. Great year last year for Curtis Rourke. But what is it about Kurt and what he does with the quarterbacks? I know it's not just Coach Signetti, but you get a lot of input from a lot of coaches. But what is it about him with the quarterbacks? What does he give to you that is just that something that was missing to your arsenal?
Yeah, I would say that. I get a lot of coaching from the other coaches. Like you mentioned, Coach Whitmer and Coach Shanahan have both been great football mentors myself. I would say Coach Signetti is a great institutionalizer. And when the team's better, the quarterback plays better. And that's something that he always does. He always holds us to a high standard, whether it's the quarterback position, the offensive line position, or linebacker position. And so that standard raises the tide for everybody. And I would say that's what makes so many quarterbacks successful is whether people want to say it or not. Being a successful quarterback, not just a talented one, is a lot by situation. And so the situation that Coach Signetti has not only coached his quarterbacks into, but put his quarterback into, has made a lot of quarterbacks successful, such as myself.
We'll go to Daniel Flick and then Seth Toe.
When you look at kind of handling that Heisman hype, what advice have you heard that's really helped you just, kind of really stuck throughout that process of handling that?
Yeah, I was able to talk to Matt Leinart a couple of weeks ago, and he's a Heisman Trophy winner, fantastic quarterback, and he's a great TV personality. His advice was similar that I got from a lot of others, but his really stuck with me is this only happens once. A lot of people, unless you're Tim Tebow, but a lot of people only go through this once and then they end up heading to the NFL or things happen. To just enjoy it, to take the present moment in. This is so special that although that you can kick it down the can down the road, that what an honor it is and how grateful and just giving all the glory to God. How great it is that I'm in this situation and that you're in this situation. And so whatever I hear about it, I'm thankful about it. I don't have anxiety looking forward to it like, oh, what's going to happen here and there? What if? I'm just like, wow, that's so cool. I never thought that it'd be at this moment, at this point. I just got to, be grateful for it and keep on chugging because all that matters is this bye week in Purdue.
We'll go to Seth and then to Sammy Jacobs.
Yeah, Fernando, just when you played football in the backyard growing up, just what did you kind of picture your future in the sport looking like? Like, was, the being, in this Heisman race, like, was that something you kind of dreamed about growing up, playing in the NFL? Just what did you kind of picture your journey looking like when you were a kid?
Yeah, I've always been a huge football fan. Always been a huge college football fan, high school football fan, and NFL fan. And whenever I was in the backyard playing with Alberta, we'd always make up situations where it was high-pressure situations, whether it was University of Miami against the University of Florida or in the national championship or the Patriots against the Dolphins. Whatever the situation was, it was always a high-pressure situation. And I think that's really helped my game a lot throughout. I know it sounds silly because it's in the backyard and it's not like actual schematic football, but I think that's helped myself a lot throughout my journey. And I always hear a lot of people that come back to whenever I was in preschool, kindergarten, not preschool, but, elementary school, middle school, or high school saying, just work hard, anything's possible. And at that age, you always take it like, okay, cool. Yeah. Did I ever think this was possible if I had to bet money on it? No, but it's so great what, God's plan is and what you could do with a strong work ethic and a great support cast around you. I wouldn't say that this is, the pinnacle of my career by any chance. I think I still have a long way to go. I still think I'm a raw quarterback prospect. However, it's been great to be a part of this opportunity. And, at a young age, I didn't have a young crystal ball. I wasn't this young prodigy who was, a 5-star coming out of high school or the next big thing. But I would say that I'm just so grateful to be in the position that I am right now and just can't thank the support staff I have around myself enough and can't thank the Lord enough.
All right, we'll take two more. We'll go Sammy Jacobs and then to Eli.
Fernando, thank you for taking our questions today. Coach Signetti said you guys needed the bye week. How do you balance getting enough rest, both mentally and physically, and keeping sharp? And then also you have Purdue coming up. Have you learned the significance of that rivalry? Can you feel it in the building? And what's your take on just playing for the old Oaken Bucket?
Since I've got here, everyone's always talked about the Oaken Bucket, talked about the rivalry with Purdue. A lot of people here are calling them Purdon't. However, I've never played them, so I can't call them anything because they're a great football team on film, and they're something to be taken extremely serious. And watching them on film, they're a really good football team. They're a really good football team. It's going to be a tough, gritty match. I think the weather conditions, it might snow over there, which would be really interesting. And I just can't wait to get a bite at the rivalry, just to be able to experience it, be able to play in it against such a great team, such a great defense that they have. And it's such an honor. It is such an honor to play Purdue and not only to get here, but see the Purdue rivalry within basketball, which is a huge rivalry, in football, and really just see the alumni and how they harp on it. And really just can't wait to keep the Oaken Bucket and control the controllables in order for us to do so.